I had no idea how I was going to do it because I was literally working for someone else, making pennies on the dollar, barely scraping by as it was. And I was like, well, I see a need. I think that I can provide a better service and I'm not going to be able to do it in the platform that I'm in. And
Right.
so I have to create that platform. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that?
How,
I started with $500 and a dream. I figured I would just figure it out along the way, and I did. Um, I had signed a year lease, and within 8 months, I was busting out of the seams. And I'm like, I need an actual storefront. I can't stay in this small space.
Hey guys, welcome back to What Works Weekly with B Coaching and Consulting. Danyell Suter, what is it you do?
Thanks for having me. My name's Danielle. I am the owner of Groomed Salons. We have locations in both Mooresville and Cornelius, North Carolina. And we also have a dual part of our business. We have the bar at Groomed, which are full service bourbon bars.
That sounds like heaven, actually. How'd you get into taking men's haircut or men's grooming? Is it just haircuts that you do?
We're I say haircuts, we're full service, so we do offer shaves, beard trims. We are constantly adding and adjusting our menus. We do waxing, just eyebrows and ears. I
Okay.
know we get that look a lot.
Nose? They do
And then,
nose
yep, we do
waxing. I've
nose
heard
as
that's a
well.
thing.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And we're adding some more spa-like treatments. So we've got some scalp treatments, some facial treatments as well.
Are you going to get into pedicures, manicures?
Not at this time. We just don't have the space for it right now.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so where did the idea of marrying men's grooming? So, which is that's a big market. Like
Huge
guys,
market. Yeah.
that's like I would always, when I was younger, I would always go to Supercuts or I just want it quick and fast, and now I've got one person. That's what we do. But I'm seeing spots open up in Reno that are more in line with what you're doing, which is they're saying, hey, this is a place for guys to come, get their treatments done. But you've also incorporated bourbon.
Have. So, I just felt like my two worlds, which was doing hair and I was also managing a bar, I felt like those two worlds could collide. And like you said, I think guys in the past, barbershops were always a place where we hear stories about our dads and our grandpas and our great grandpas. They hung out at the barbershop. That was like the place they went to socialize. They'd be there all day on Saturday. And so when I opened, I was like, well, how can we kind of bring that old school world mentality, but also be with the new age? Because people really do need to adhere to schedules and, with AI taking over and a lot of people being able to work from home now,
Mhm.
we still need to make sure your time is your time, but we want to create a place where people want to hang out too. So if you can jump on a work call in a corner of a bar and have a drink in your hand, let's let's build it and see if they'll come. And it's really been awesome. It's been well received.
It's been well received. I can
Yes.
imagine. I'm sitting here thinking, well, I mean, now you can start serving old fashioned in what looks like a Pepsi, and then just sit here on my
And
Zoom
sip.
and be like,
Yep.
yeah, how's it going?
We'll put it in
Um,
a coffee cup for you.
well, and that's the great thing about this country is if you see a need in a particular, and for you it's men's grooming, and then the bar side, which it does a couple things. Number one, it gives your clients a place to go to relax, to be themselves, to enjoy their time. So I believe that face-to-face socializing, people having real conversations, getting to know each other is the one thing that has really taken a beating since COVID. Whereas you and I are doing this, you're in North Carolina, I'm in Nevada. So there's a difference between having this conversation and if you and I were sitting across, a small table from each other, sharing a drink, breaking bread, getting a little bit deeper. And I think I could be wrong, but I believe that males in particular have a harder time finding spaces where they can just kind of relax, let the guard down, have real conversations with peers, enjoy themselves, and then have it on the calendar. Because you and I talked about this before. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist in
It
my
doesn't
world.
exist. Yep.
And if I got to be there at 8, I'm definitely going to be there at 8. So it would be a really good place to say, hey, from 1:30 in the afternoon to 3 o'clock, this is where I'm going to be. I mean, your place sounds like a perfect place on a Friday, late Friday afternoon to just go
It
and
really
chill.
is. Yeah, Fridays, I would say, are our busiest days. We have a lot of guys, it's like they've told a friend, they've told a coworker, and so we get a lot of those guys on a Friday afternoon where their job is flexible enough, they can pop in, an hour before they're scheduled. They have a pre-haircut drink together. They both get their haircuts, their shaves, their beard trims, whatever, and then they stay for a couple more hours, have a few more drinks before they go home. So, like you said, I for the longest time it was the women got to do that. The women got to go and enjoy a spa day and be gone for 6 hours to get their hair done.
Yeah.
But now, you don't have to be a girl to do that.
No, no. And it's becoming more. I think a lot of people are realizing that guys are struggling. Like the last few
Yeah.
years, if
Yeah.
you look at suicide rates, I've had people that I know that were in their 40s and their 50s, and men tend to, and I'm going to generalize, and I could be totally wrong, and people could flame me in the comments. I believe that men of the age 40, 45 and older have, at least in their own mind, a responsibility that the family unit is on their shoulders. And a lot of them, um, at young ages, were taught to compartmentalize feelings, to stuff things down. This is why guys go through rage fits. They're not enough. They're not going to be enough. They lack support all the way around. And whether it's a father figure or family or abuse, mental issues, depression, anxiety, things like that aren't things that guys talk about. I
I
can't,
think that's a great point.
and this would at least give them a space to say, gosh, um, my life looks perfect, but it's not. And it's not because of these things. That's why I like coaching, because coaching gives people a safe space to have a conversation and then raise their hand and say, I like everything about who I am except this and this and this. And then somebody else goes, oh, cool, let's talk about it. It's almost like therapy, but then also tactical steps to help fix the problem. And the more people have these conversations, the more they realize that other people share the same frustrations, that they're all kind of in it together, yet nobody's talking about it. So I love the idea of it. In fact, I'm going to be in your town in November, and I'm definitely going to swing by.
Yeah, I think you brought up some great points. One of our mottos is look your best, feel your best, be your best. And
Mm,
so we want to always provide like a space where clients can come, unwind. Like you said, we are therapists, really. Like we're here to talk, to listen, and we're one of the very few industries that still allows personal touch. So allowing that connection and allowing our clients to release that pressure and release, like you said, some of the things that they don't get to deal with on a day-to-day basis, I think is really super important.
yeah,
We're one of the very few industries that is going to be taken over by automation. I think in the near future, if you really think about it, you can't replace me with a computer when I'm cutting hair. So, I think that it's super important for us to to pour into our industry. I think it's an industry that doesn't always get the recognition it deserves. But back to your point, people realized how important their hairstylists were during COVID because they didn't get out and have that time and give themselves that R&R. So, yeah, I really saw a huge. I think the biggest change since I've opened Groomed was definitely after COVID. I think that we have seen men more willing to say, I need this space. I need this time. I need to be able to do what my wife is doing or what my spouse is doing. I need to be able to go and have a few hours that are just mine without the kids. to turn my phone off and not have to deal with work.
Well, and personal care is not something that a lot of us were taught or we
No,
always were. I mean,
no.
it was like, oh, are you going to go get pampered? Do you, you know,
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of mocked in a way. Yeah.
I was mocked in a big way. Let's
Yeah,
be honest,
yeah,
honest with you. I
yeah.
mean,
That
we
generational
we
trauma
weren't
is
the
gonna
we
stuck
weren't the
with us.
gentlest of
Yeah.
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 You can blame the way we were raised. But yeah, it's something that you saw a need for. You saw, and I'm sure at some point in time you had an idea, and we're like I came up with the idea about 7 or 8 years ago of creating, and I would never do it because I owned a bar before, and we got that out of my system. But I went to my wife and said, "Hey, let's open a guy's sports bar that does haircuts that does this is the same kind of philosophy. You just had the guts to actually do it." Whereas I just sit there and think about it. And I was going to call it Manscape. So it was like a man's escape. I thought that
Mhm.
was a neat little
That's
play on
clever.
word.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of a mix that I'm probably crossing the line, but mine was more of a mix between like a Hooters and a ultra spa, that type of
No,
thing.
those I mean, those exist too.
And and I'm totally against misogyny. For the record. It is. This is Reno, though, so a lot of things. We do sell alcohol 24 hours a day and gambling. We actually have slot machines in the grocery stores. So yeah, we're a little bit different over here.
Little
Uh,
different.
what were the biggest challenges that you ran into when you said, "Hey, I'm gonna open this"?
You know, I wanna say it was not having people in my corner, but that's not entirely true. You know, I was not married to my husband at the time, but I we were together and he was, I'd say, my number one supporter. Both my grandparents were still living at the time and they were immensely supportive, even though they were not initially supportive of my choice to go to hair school. Again, generational. They thought I needed to stick law school out, which was what I was going to do, and they just thought I was never gonna, you're not gonna be anybody by doing hair. You're not gonna make any money. So, they were supportive when I said I wanted to open a business, and I had a really good friend of mine who was extremely supportive as well. And just having those people in my corner is what made me say, yeah, I can make this work. Financially, I had no idea how I was going to do it because I was literally working for someone else, making pennies on the dollar, barely scraping by as it was. And I was like, well, I see a need. You know, I think that I can provide a better service and I'm not going to be able to do it in the platform that I'm in. And
Right?
so I have to create that platform. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that?
How did
Uh,
you?
I started with $500 and a dream. So I negotiated a salon suite space where I could break up my deposit over time. I had great references, great personal references just from my years in the corporate world. So I really had, I had to find somebody that was willing to take a chance on me. And I opened a salon suite, and my goal was to just pay the bills. At this point, I wanted to provide a great space for my clients, um, an upscale space, a space where I knew that I could grow and that I could flourish personally as a stylist, that I could provide a really safe space for my clients to get the service that they wanted. And I figured I would just figure it out along the way, and I did. Um, I had signed a year lease, and within 8 months, I was busting out of the seams, and I'm like, I need an actual storefront. I can't stay in this small space." And I was really fortunate that the place that I was renting from, she was like, "I'm not gonna hold you back. I've got 10 people in line that'll take your spot. Go, be, do." So
Yeah.
yeah, I moved into my first actual storefront, which was a really big deal, and hired my first stylist. And like I say, the rest is kind of history. we've just grown and evolved. That was in the beginning of 2017, and here we are about to hit 2026. So we're closing in on 9 years, and every year I'm like, if we make it one more year, I count that as a blessing. But man, we grew from just providing haircuts to being something more. I opened our Mooresville location during COVID, which was stressful and chaotic, but again, I just had this faith that if I was hungry and did right by people and surrounded myself with the right kind of people, that I could constantly evolve the way that I'm needed. And I'm
Yeah.
still doing that every day. We're not done. We're not just here to cut hair. We're super involved in charity, and now that we have the means and we have a staff to do that, that's kind of one of our next passions, is to be able to create a spot in this industry for the barbers like us. Um, my staff, we just feel like we're really in this lost part of the industry because you see a lot of male barbers in this industry. It's a male dominated industry. And so we're just trying to carve out a spot for us to exist, for the females who do it to exist.
Well, and it sounds like you're doing that pretty well. And there are a number of things. Can I do an exercise with you real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in almost 9 years, you've grown from having $500 and having a partner that was very supportive, which I believe is key, absolutely key, because you can train the inner voice to be as supportive as possible. But I think we all need outside influences sometimes just to say, no, you're doing it. I'm proud of you. Way to go. Keep going. Um, and then you did two things that I really liked. One was you really provided, it sounds like, an experience that was valuable to your clients. So, which I think a lot of real estate agents do that too, loan officers. So people in the space that I play in, I hear consistently, provide value, make the experience something great. Like make them happy to go through what is a very painful process sometimes. And then the most important, which was the third thing I wrote down, was you acted rather than sit in your space and go, I have it, like me talking about Manscaped. You actually said, I'm going to do it. It's that leap. And knowing full well, you could have totally failed. You could have been
100%.
broke. You could have
Yeah.
owed people money. I've done that. I've left business ventures where I had to pay people off years later over something that failed way back then. And I've
The
had this
statistics, yeah, the statistics of 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years they get
crazy.
smaller and smaller, and we're a year and a few months away from 10 years, which
I know.
it's
So so
insane.
So here's what I like to do with clients. Where do you see your business and yourself in 5 years?
You
Like
know,
like if and I'm going to preface it because I'll do it with you the way I do it, which is dream. Like in 5 years, if everything worked out for you and you just nailed it all, how many locations, how many stylists, um, what does it look like?
wish I could give you like one set dream, but I'm learning that they change. I say by the month, sometimes by the week. It really does. 6 months ago you could have asked me that and I would have told you I want a franchise. I want to figure out how to make it bigger and grow more. Right now, that's just not where I'm existing. For me personally, I've realized how valuable time is, and that's something that I can't get back. And so for me and the people that I employ, I just want to be able to create time freedom for the people that I'm surrounded with. And with that comes they've got to be set financially, right? And
Right.
so um right now I'm okay with my locations that I have. It's just finding the right people that want to, I say, play with us, the right people that
Yeah.
want to work with us. And because at the end of the day, we don't exist we can't exist for our clients if we don't have a team that exists with us.
Right.
Um, so for me, time freedom is just all that's on my radar. Being able to take the time off I want to take off, spend it with the
Hmm.
people I want to spend it with, and make sure that the people that I'm employing and that are working with me and surrounding me are able to do the same thing. How can I provide that to my community, not just who's in my little bubble?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
And that's really, if you, I had a friend suggest a book and I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's about end of life and what people find. And he was telling me the book and he's like, this is X number of people were interviewed and they were at end of life and they, what were your biggest regrets? And I said, I'll guarantee you the top three were having better relationships, spending more time with and doing more things with the people that they cared about in their life. So basically what you're telling me is that if you could be impactful, not just that you, which would be a very selfish thing to say, hey, in 5 years, I want to have all the freedom I want. What I heard you say was you want to be as impactful as you can to as many people as you can and give them the thing that you want, which is time, freedom, experiences, things like that. Right.
yes, yep,
I love that. I love that. And it's the essence of the more people you help accomplish their dreams, the more they will help you accomplish yours. Uh,
100%.
okay, good. Well, we've planted a seed, and that's the first step in making a reality. Now, if you keep the locations, you need more team members.
Yes, always. I always need more team members.
So I struggle with that also. How do you find people? And I'm trying to have you give me a tip because I need more tips. I struggle finding people that fit the culture.
That's if you wanna know our biggest struggle, if that's on the list to find out, that's the one that I have.
That's it.
Um, the best analogy I have is you can find a lot of people that can do a mediocre job, right?
Right. Oh yes.
It's really hard to find someone that can, you want that, like, that Ruth Chris experience, that high-end steakhouse experience, right?
Yeah.
And I think those people are a lot harder to find. So for every 20 people I interview, I might offer a job to 2, and I might be lucky if I get one good one.
One that sticks.
Um, so when I say impacting people around me, it's also how do we impact this industry to get stylists to that level? It's easy to get them out of a turn and burn type experience, but it's really hard to transform their mindset into a brand and a culture experience
Yeah.
that's different than that.
No, I agree. In my messaging in recruitment has gone from I have things that can benefit you and your business to I don't want everyone. I only
No.
want if you take really good care of clients, if you are a kind person and you want to build a business, I will help you do that. And I get a lot less people. I really do. But the ones that come to me tend to fit. They've already, they've already kind of weeded themselves out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think brand messaging is extremely important. Do you guys do social media?
We do. We're not as great on social media as we should be, simply because we're so busy.
Is right.
But I think that the market that we're missing is the people that we want to work for us. Um, it's not the customers. The customers are there. We are sometimes you can't get in with us for 4 or 5 weeks at a time. God, and if you'd told me that 8 years ago, I'd have probably laughed at you. But I think that our next focus, as far as like social media wise goes, is going to be to try to get people that want to work with us in whatever
Yeah.
capacity.
Well, my suggestion to you would be, uh, have your stylists or have somebody, it could be an intern that just comes in a few hours a week, come in and videotape what it's like to be a stylist, and really show the culture. This is who
Mhm.
we are. This is what we're about. Because what happens is, and it happens in my business, is I get a lot of people that are doing my job that follow me. They may they may not even hit the follow button, but they watch my stuff. They may not hit the like button because they don't want me to know that they like it. But then I'll run into them and they'll say, "Oh, I saw your video on, there was," and all I want to do is put out valuable content so that people in my industry go, "Oh, that's a nice tip. I thought that was good. He taught me something. I learned." But I realized that in being authentic and vulnerable and just putting it all out there, like even the screw ups, people go, "Oh, he's more in alignment with who I am. So maybe he's not even though I'm a competitor, maybe he's not a bad person. Maybe he's somebody that I should listen to when I need
Mhm.
some help." And in your case, it would be, man, that's the kind of salon I want to work at.
Yeah.
And then they pick up the phone and come over. Um, you're, you realize in 5 years, you're not going to have just two locations. I hate
I
to tell
mean,
you.
I thought we wanted more locations, but I don't know if I just don't know if that's where we're at right now.
Bring it in.
I hope that we can keep opening locations and we have people beating our door down to come work for us, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So if somebody were listening or watching and they were you 9 years ago. They've got $500. They're good at something, and they want to be bigger, or they have a dream. What are two or three pieces of advice that you'd give to them?
Um, part of the story I didn't share is that first year I was grinding. I was working 95 hours a week. I still had bills to pay, so I was bartending at night. So I was getting up every day, going into the salon, sitting at an empty salon because I didn't have a clientele, and just hoping. It's so crazy to look back. My rent and what I was charging for haircuts back then, I needed to do 10 haircuts a month just to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I think it was 10
Yes.
haircuts a week. Sorry, 10 haircuts a week just to pay my rent and pay my overhead. And so, I'm doing 2 times that a day now,
Right.
just me
Right.
personally, and
Yeah.
I've got, other stylists that work for me. So, I was having to bartend at night.
So what you're describing is you're describing the struggle.
Yes, and
You're describing the hard work
so
that you
all that
did.
to say, I think that people are not willing to do the struggle. I see all these stylists, they come and work, they'll work for us for a year and a half, and they're like, "Okay, well, I wanna go and I wanna open my own thing." I'm 100% supportive of that. If you feel like that's what's best for you and you feel like you're gonna get more financial freedom by doing that than staying with us, do it. But 9 times out of 10, if not almost 10 out of 10, I see them fail within the first year. And the
Yes.
reason is they're not willing to live that struggle. They're not willing to make the sacrifices.
Danielle, I'll take it even deeper than that. They don't have the resiliency because
Mm-mm.
they've never been pushed, they've never been tested, they've never failed. And because you've never done it, you hate it and you're not willing to suck it up and go and keep going. So uh, your story and my story very similar. Mine started 20 some, well, actually it started way back. I've had a number of spots in my life where I was, I mean, heck, have you ever been a dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant and
No, but pretty close.
had to
Pretty close.
scrape cheese off of every freaking plate because the salamander cooked it too hard? And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so if you do those things and you're used to it, then anything above is, hey, at least I'm not doing
It's
that. I mean,
yeah, it's a prize, right?
could be
It's
could
a
be worse.
prize.
I removed the worst job I've ever had. right out of high school. I took a summer job removing asbestos from
Oof.
commercial buildings up in Sacramento, California, where it was 115, 110 in the daytime, and I'm in a bodysuit upstairs. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
it was
what people don't see is they don't see that struggle. They didn't see me getting 2 hours of sleep a night, literally spending I'm probably less than 2 hours a week with my now husband, and
right.
bless him because if he wasn't, bringing me food and holding me when I was sobbing because I was so exhausted and saying, "You can do this. Remember what you're doing it for. You'll
Yes.
be okay." I definitely would not have made it past that first year. And
Yeah.
the first year is I think when most people collapse.
Right. Right. Yeah,
Um,
it's too easy to just stop and go, "No, this is too hard. I don't
yeah.
wanna do hard."
Yeah.
But if you lean into the hard and you enjoy like now, I enjoy challenges. I just like challenges.
The pressure
Oh, so much
it gives
fun.
me like so much motivation. I am
Don't get
yeah,
me started because you look back at those times and you say, "Man, those they were so awesome when I was in it, but I hated it so much that I couldn't appreciate it."
hated it. Yeah.
Yeah. I
But I
love it.
appreciate it so much now. A couple other things that I know that I learned along the way is that you always have to be hungry to learn. I think people get really complacent and they're just like, "No, I got this. I know what I'm doing." No, I will tell you every day, like I can learn from any person that steps foot in my door, any person that works for me. Um, I You just always have to have a drive to learn. Um,
Yes.
and then the last one is just surround yourself with people that you want to play with. I say that in just every aspect. I'm in a pretty niche market where I think that our clients definitely choose us. We don't choose them. And I love that because I'm surrounded with clients that motivate me, drive me, but I'm surrounded with other business owners, other professionals. Um, and I can learn something, like I said, from anybody that I surround myself with, and I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
Yeah. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning.
Mhm.
I wanna try, I wanna go, I wanna fail because
Yeah.
failure is part of getting better too, so
Yeah. Yeah.
embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. Yeah.
Well, cool. Hey, how could people, if they wanted to look your place up, you have a website? You have an
Yeah,
Instagram?
so our website is, Groomed Salons, plural, .com, and then we are on, our social medias are Groomed Salons and then the bar at Groomed.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So
I
we
will
do
see
tons of events with our bar side as well. We've got bourbon tastings and Halloween parties, Christmas parties. It's a
perfect.
good time. Yeah.
That's perfect. Do you have memberships?
We don't, but it's something that we're looking into. You know,
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Evolve,
Yes.
grow.
Constantly.
Okay. Well, I will see you in November.
Sounds
I'll
great.
make sure that Eric makes me swing by and I'll raise a glass. So I appreciate your
Love it.
time and I hope you have
Yeah.
the best of weeks.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Mike.
You got it.